When we were thinking about making a banjo, we kind of thought about what a banjo looked like and kind of the pieces it had. And for our resonator, we decided to go with a tambourine that we bought on eBay. But then other than that, the rest we, except for the kind of the strings and the tuning pegs, the rest is we fabricated ourselves. So yeah.
All right, so basically we didn't have that many actual difficulties because we had a lot of sort of foresight in what we thought was going to go wrong, which turned out to not be a huge problem. With Garrett, we'll flip it around. You'll see that we have a steel rod running through the neck to the tambourine so that when we tension the strings, we wouldn't snap our tambourine in half. Because right now the tailpiece is secured to the steel rod, which runs all the way up to the head. To get it in there, we had to use my table saw, and you do something called dadoing it, where you cut part way in so you get a divot that you could then put the steel rod in, glue it in, clamp it down overnight. We did the same for the bridge, for the fretboard, which Garrett will talk about how we had to work the really hard jatoba, or Brazilian cherry as some call it.
So the two wood choices we went with were maple, which is this piece right here, which we use for the neck, of course, and also the bridge and the tail piece over here. And then we went with jatoba, which is also known as Brazilian cherry. And I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with jatoba, but pretty much when we walked out of Rafael Lumber, the guy told us, have fun cutting this. And he wasn't joking. This was a very big pain to cut. And we took a lot of time with shaping the fretboard as well as inserting the frets.
So another engineering problem we found was we have the support at the base, but originally we had another support for the tambourine on the inside. That actually took a really long time to shape to the shape of the tambourine. But we found that once we had it in there, it was touching the hide of the tambourine, and it totally messed up the resonance. So we ended up just completely abandoning that, and it ended up working out fine without it.
One of our other problems was we actually went, like I said, when we first started working on it, I was worried about being too authentic because I thought we were going to get hung up on small details. So we went out anyway and got actual banjo tuning pegs. And one of the things we didn't realize was with the banjo tuning peg, your fifth string needs to go into the side of your neck. So that meant that once we had everything glued down and together, we realized we couldn't attach it at the head of the other ones. So we had to take an electric jigsaw and cut along that and do the divot to make sure that we could get this peg in. But then the problem is that because we cut away wood from the side, we couldn't drill in deep enough with the steel rod as the support in there to get this to stay. You'll see we messed up one hole by making it too big, trying to get it in deep enough. Our solution was instead, because we needed the string to come so that it was along not right along the edge of the fretboard. So we took the coping saw and made a little divot, sort of like we have in our nut up here, so that it would angle itself in first and then run along parallel to the other strings on the inside.
Another thing we had to deal with was, since we took a tambourine, there are these little pins that hold in the hide for the tambourine. And for our piece at the end, our piece of maple, to sit right against the tambourine as well as our neck, we had to remove these pins. But we were worried about how that would change the tension of the overall hide on the tambourine. So we pretty much, when we took off these little pins, we just had to make sure that we got on our end piece and our neck pretty quickly after to make sure that the tension was still held.
I don't think Garrett's going to play it for you. This is a washed up bass, by the way. I think it's pretty cool. But yeah.
is, wow.
Guitar's not quite synonymous with banjo, I guess.